business and you find the credit union very far, you can go to your rural credit union and they will give you one of these boxes.
As it is a NACU policy to step down after serving for 6 consecutive years as a board member, 3 retiring board members in the persons of Mariama Bojang, Dominic Mendy and Umar Jallo were presented with gifts. Given the fact that many new banks became operational in the country in the past few years, non-financial banking institutions like NACU should perhaps be providing invaluable and affordable service to their members in order to maintain or even increase their share of the Gambia's financial sector. For GRTS News, this is Babukar Senghor.
The Lions Club International, a philanthropic organization that has been complementing national development endeavors over the years, recently met in Banjul as part of a consultative meeting with its members from the sub-region. The interface was held at a time when members are warming up for a governors' meeting, which is scheduled to take place in a few months' time in Senegal. We have more in this report by Famara Fofana.
Assistance to their communities with particular focus on health and education. This third consultative meeting held in Banjul is a forerunner to the forthcoming regional governors meeting to be hosted by Senegal. Muje Mark Lyons, the president of Lions Club Zone that includes countries like the Gambia, said Lions Club International is the biggest charity in the world, boasting of a global membership of over 1 million. With 8 clubs in Senegal, 1 in Cape Verde and another in the Gambia, this recent conclave reviewed the progress made by the zone. Apart from receiving recognition for the way it has been managed, Banjul Lions Club, according to Mohamed Basiri Job, regional president, is of great significance as the only English-speaking country nestled between French and Portuguese-speaking countries. The outgoing president of the Lions Club of Banjul was full of praises for his international colleagues for descending on Banjul for a consultative meeting.
We take this opportunity to thank them for doing so. We have several clubs from Dakar, from Senegal, etc. who are here. But particularly, I want to say that this will give us the opportunity to learn, as my regional president said, the techniques for getting funding which will be useful for our projects which we intend to do in the area of sight, in the area of education, and in general areas.
Meanwhile, lawyer Usman Silla, who will assume the presidency of the Banjul Lions Club few months' time, said they can do a lot for the society through the range of programs the Lions Club is involved in. Famara Fofana, GRTS.
Even though it had happened some weeks back, memories of that fire incident is still fresh in the minds of the victims who lost valuables in the process. The gutted compound that belongs to Chief of Jimara has ignited a debate about the circumstances leading to the fire incident. Ibrahim Balde has more on the fire that has displaced an extended family network in Numel.
It's been weeks now since the unfortunate incident hit the Kamarakunda family in Numel in the Upper River region. However, to the cameras, the fire that gutted their compound shocked the whole community. According to eyewitness accounts, the fire engulfed the compound broad daylight on a fateful Friday. All the structures in this expansive family compound were burnt. Some items were utterly destroyed, thereby causing huge loss to the chief of Jimara, Alhaji Kule Kamara, who owns this complex. While the actual cause is still not known, barely a month after the incident, when GRTS learned about the fire some weeks back, we attempted to find out from the victims what actually happened. The chief of Jimara says he is still yet to come to terms with the inferno that slowed down his family reconstruction project. Alhaji Kule said his wife's high-priced gold ornaments and other costly valuables were all consumed in the fire. Or what's even saddening for him, said the chief, is the weight of cash that was gutted by the fire. This man also claimed he has lost his money to the fire, having returned to the village recently from Spain on holiday. There is no doubt investigations into the fire are continuing with a view to getting to the root cause of the problem. For instance, the chief of Jimara said he would like to have an idea about how the fire started, and the speed at which the fire burnt his compound was highly suspicious to him. Ibrahim Abalde, GRTS News.
Heavy rains in Kenya's coast and Rift Valley have displaced thousands of people around the region, and a humanitarian tragedy is slowly unfolding in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Find out what else is making news around the continent. We'll be back with these and other stories after this break.
Mr. Shagwa,
Welcome back. Nowhere else to go, thousands of refugees struggling to escape the precarious political situation in the wake of the recent coup in Central African Republic are moving to the Democratic Republic of Congo in search of peace and shelter. However, this has prompted the chief of the United Nations High Commission for Refugees to describe the DRC as the worst humanitarian tragedy in the world. Let's look at this report for more on the torrents of refugees streaming into neighboring DRC.
For the last 3 months, thousands of refugees fleeing the chaos of the Central African Republic have crossed into the northern DR Congo. Many have been taken in by Congolese families, but of the 30,000 who have arrived so far, most have ended up in refugee camps, such as this one in the village of Warobe. Izungalara's husband died from an illness soon after the war broke out. She said that, although life had become unbearable in the CAR, it was almost as hard to survive in the camp.
We have nothing to eat here. There are a lot of people and not enough food. We need more food.
Every day, some 250 Central Africans cross into the DRC. The camps are overcrowded, shelter, beds, and especially food are scarce.
Our children will die if they get nothing to eat.
But hopes were raised this week with a visit by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. On his return to Kinshasa, Antonio Guterres announced that the UN would increase food aid as well as build another camp, furnished with a medical clinic and classrooms so that children could continue their schooling. The camp will be located in the North Ubangi district and will be capable of accommodating 10,000 refugees. However, the High Commissioner said that outside aid was crucial. I call on the international community to take an active role in helping the Central African Republic find a political solution as quickly as possible, in order to allow these refugees to return home safely and to spare the region a new cause of instability. Mr. Guterres underscored his appeal by reminding people that the DRC was already suffering one of the worst, if not the worst, humanitarian tragedy in the world.
After being installed by the country's Transitional Council following the ouster of President Francois Bozize, the new head of state of the Central African Republic, Michel Djitoja, has promised not to stand as a candidate in the presidential elections. He pledged to convene within 18 months. And in Somalia, a bomb blast in the capital, Mogadishu, has left 5 people dead. We have details of this and other stories in this African News Roundup.
People have been confirmed dead and several more injured in Sunday's attack in a courthouse in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. A few minutes later, a car bomb exploded when an aid convoy passed by, injuring several people. The attacks are being blamed on Shabab Islamist insurgents. Cameroon voted Sunday to elect senators for the first time in its history. The Senate was created by the Constitution in 1996 but never put in place. The situation was precarious because the Constitution states that if the president can no longer carry out his duties, it's the Senate leader who fills in for him. Municipal advisors voted directly to elect the senators. A large majority of the newly elected senators are members of the RDPC party of President Paul Biya. 70 senators will be elected and 30 others will be named by presidential decree. Rebel leader Michel Djitoja was officially named the president of the Central African Republic after seizing power in a coup. Djitoja was appointed interim president by the country's Transitional Council on Saturday. It will give some much-needed legitimacy to Jotodia, who declared himself president after his Seleka rebels seized power in Rongi on